Lions just recovered a fumble.
Bits of wisdom.
Harry Houdini, I'm pretty sure.
That's when it kind of becomes Home Improvement After Dark.
I guess that leaves us at the question of the week.
Very good. I don't know if you noticed, Jordan, but a really cool aerial shot of the table. Reasonably funny.
User review.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Home Impodcast time.
That's right. A company that would never muffle Benford Tools is proud to present a Home Improvement Podcast. My name is Adam, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jordan. Jordan, a little cranky this morning.
Well, at your prompting, I now have my podcast pants on, so yeah. I'm ready to go.
You've been dealing with some things behind the scenes, some personal things. Like yesterday, you went golfing, and then you went to a potluck, and then you ran, and you're very tired today as a result of that. So
I wouldn't say that's why I'm tired. I would say it's the lack of sleep that I've been getting. But sure, you can add those things in there too.
Yeah, I'm just kind of reporting what you said back to me. But you got your podcasting pants on, Jordan. Today we're celebrating.
We are celebrating. It's when this episode comes out, it'll be the 1-year anniversary of our very first released podcast. We made it. We made a whole year.
A whole year of podcasts.
A whole year of Home Improvement.
Another year over, a new one just begun, you know? So, yeah, we're rolling into year 2. At the end of the show today, we'll talk about some lessons learned, I think.
Yeah. You've learned things?
Yeah, I have a few things I've learned. Or rather, observations.
Sure.
Yeah,
Is it because you had that apple earlier? Is that where you learned all this stuff?
I had an apple, and now I've got all the knowledge in the world. Things I've learned, or things I learned last week after recording. I noted during last week's episode that I'd watched the first 20 minutes of The Sixth Day, and I was like, I listened back to the episodes after you edit them, and I was quite high on just most things in the film, plot-wise, and then after we recorded, I proceeded to watch the remaining, must have been an hour and 45 minutes, and I gotta tell you, Jordan, things go down the drain pretty quickly.
Oh, no. Did the eye thing ever come into play? Like, did we ever get any resolution about why?
Yeah, he thought he was taking an eye test, but that's how they cloned him, so,
Ugh.
Yeah,
If I had a nickel for every time that happened.
I know. It was, it really went off the rails when there were 2 Arnold Schwarzeneggers interacting with one another. I'm a big Arnold fan, but let's just say he maybe doesn't have the chops to act off himself, or it just didn't work so well for me. Their one-on-one scenes with the split screen. Arnold can do a lot of things. That's just not really one of them. So
in this case, the more wasn't the merrier, I suppose.
No, less is more. It was. Actually, I sort of started walking out of the room at the end. But
you didn't turn it off, you just walked out of the room.
Yeah, that's usually my fix. Instead of turning something off, I just sort of start doing other things. Dishes, tidying up, etc.
Well, you want to make sure that you're kind of like peripherally listening just in case something exciting happens.
Yeah, I want to be able to talk about it, because I feel like there may be an opportunity in the future where someone's like, hey, have you ever seen this movie The Sixth Day? And I can, engage in a conversation about it. So that's kind of my fears. If I leave the room, I won't be able to talk about it, at dinner parties and such.
Yeah, lots of dinner parties. They bring up The Sixth Day.
Yeah, a lot of dinner. It's dinner party fodder.
For sure.
Yesterday, I don't want to talk about this for a long time because I don't want to get into the habit of spending the first 20 minutes of the podcast talking about movies I've seen. We've done enough of that.
But here we go.
This is tangentially related. I did see Baywatch yesterday.
And you said it does have Pam Anderson in it,
yes,
which of course
it does. She's Lisa on this show.
She's Lisa.
Fans of the show will know that, of course.
So we'll take any tie-in any way we can.
Yeah, I saw it. It's getting really bad reviews from critics, worse than I thought it would. But, if you're going to see a Baywatch movie, it's pretty much exactly what you'd expect. I laughed a lot. Is it good? Probably not, but there's some good gags in there. So I would recommend it as just kind of a raunchy, silly comedy. It's not Citizen Kane or Boxer and the Bobby Sox, one of your favorites, Jordan. But it is
not even the name of the movie.
Boxer and the Bobby Sox, close enough. But it's a fun little romp. So yeah, that's other than that, I mean, that's anything new with you other than you're tired from your running and golfing and stuff.
I did go golfing for the first time in like 2 years yesterday.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that I've been in Florida for so long and just haven't been able to get on the course. So I had a good time doing that. I haven't seen any movies lately. I've been kind of rewatching The Office a little bit. So that's where I've been spending some of my time.
You're into the Robert California era, and you're just loving it.
Yeah, that's. I just skipped to the Robert California era.
Nothing better in The Office than when Michael leaves. That's when things really pick up.
Give me Ed Helms as the manager, and give me Robert California. That's all I need.
Remember when Ed Helms was like supposed to kind of be like a star? Like there was Ed Helms movies, like where he was like starring. He's like the lead character. That's not happening anymore.
Nah, he had about, what was it, like 6 months where he was...
He's hot.
He was the it factor.
People love watching him play banjo.
Yeah, no more banjoing. No more acapella.
No
Poor
more
guy.
banjo, acapella. That ship has sailed. I'll tell you what hasn't sailed, though, Jordan. Bits of wisdom. Go ahead and cue those grunts.
Sure, it's all safe to me. Oh, no.
Now it's time for Bits of Wisdom.
This week's bit of wisdom comes from BradyQuote.com. I like pixie sticks. Yeah, screw the middleman. Just a tube of sugar. I'd pour 2 of those in a big 12-ounce Coke, and I'd go out to catechism class and try to concentrate on the priest. I saw Jesus several times. I swear I did. This has been your bit of wisdom. Yeah.
That's a lot of sugar.
Yeah, he saw Jesus, Jordan.
Several times.
Yeah, he swears he did. So I don't know. A correlation.
So just OD on sugar, and there he is.
Wow, that's pretty good. There's a lot to unpack there, but I think instead of unpacking it, we should just kind of head into the episode this week.
All right, I guess so. I was going to ask, do you remember those like Fun Dip things where you had like a stick and you just basically dipped it into sugar?
No, I remember Sour Pants
Kids?
Sour Pants Kid, put your podcasting pants on. No, Sour Punch Straws.
Oh.
You remember those?
Yeah, it isn't. I mean, can you imagine eating that stuff now?
It'd be disgusting. I mean, I think
you'd feel so bad.
The only time I ate like candy consistently was at like Davison high school basketball games because my mom would give me money and I would go to the concession stand and they had a bunch of candy there.
Oh,
so
yeah.
A lot of what are those? Those things where Airheads? Yeah.
Oh
Airheads.
yeah, I loved Airheads.
Yeah, Airheads. That same kind of thing where it's just like I can't. I think if I took a bite of that now, it would just like taste so disgustingly
sugar
bitter
overload,
sugary, and
it would not be bitter at all.
It wouldn't.
Are you talking about like Sour Heads or whatever? What were those?
The
really sour ones?
The Sour Punch straws.
Oh, well, Airheads are just like all sweetness.
Yeah, well, thank you for that clarification, Jordan. Apparently, if we want to see Jesus, we'll just have a bunch of it. So.
Have like 100. So yeah, let's move on into the episode. We're going to cover, this is our 47th episode, To Build or Not to Build. Can you guess where that title reference came from?
Well, I do think I mentioned it last week, but if I'm not mistaken, it is a reference to the Bard.
It's actually Billy Madison.
Yes, of course. Yeah, sure.
Written by Robert Zappia, I suppose. This is his only episode that he's going to write.
When you say "you suppose," do you mean that he might not have written it?
I'm not sure if I believe that he did it or not.
Yeah,
some of his other works are some recent Tom and Jerry episodes. Did you?
I think some speculation is healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We speculate on a lot here,
You have to.
including what IMDb says.
Yeah, I would say that's probably
Good thing.
Warranted. Yeah.
Aired May 5th, 1993. We have one plot keyword, and it is handmade gift.
That's weird that there would just be that one. Let's make up another alternative one. What do you think?
Sure, why not?
All right. I'll say poem.
I'll say toilet.
I'll say the Great Randini.
The other films are, I guess, films or TV shows that had the Handmade Gift in them. Seventh Heaven, Bad Santa, and a movie called New in Town with Renee Zellweger.
I don't know about New in Town. Yeah, she moves to Minnesota. falls in love with Harry Connick Jr. It's a real riot.
It's another romp, just like Baywatch.
I almost said romp. That's why I changed it to riot. I don't want to. Podcasting. One thing I've learned after a year is you don't want to say the same adjective twice.
Romp.
Yeah.
Let's do alternative titles.
Okay, so the title is To Build or Not to Build. I had a tough time, per usual. I have 3.
I guess start first, and then I'll go.
Okay. This one is pretty down the middle. A Magical Mother's Day. Because Randy does magic, and, All
right, mine's topical for now. It's called The Handmaid's Tale. But Handmaid is actually...
Man, you don't even watch that show. How come I couldn't think of that?
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Man, that's frustrating. All right, I'm over here rubbing 2 sticks together. You got a lighter. All right, my next one is... Okay, this is my best one. Much Ado About Building.
So just like the other episode.
Yeah, another... is there Much Ado About...
Nana.
Oh, man. I thought I went to Wikipedia, I found Shakespeare titles, and I thought, well, this will work. Wasn't Much Ado About Nana like the last episode?
I think it was the last one we could have covered.
I'm losing my mind. That's so embarrassing.
Or it was 2 ago, I think.
Well, you know what? Much Ado About Building, so that's fine.
So you're just going to do Much Ado About something.
That's going to be one of my 3 for the foreseeable future. Much Ado About, and then the theme of the episode.
All right, I only got one more.
Okay.
It's called Grunter's Day.
That's good. Yours are better than mine. All right, my last one is Uncrateful. Because, the joke, box, crate, synonym...
Boy, you were stretching this week.
It was not a good week. Yeah, not a good week. My best one, it turns out, is just the name of another episode we covered. So that's
your first one was the best one.
A Magical Mother's Day.
Yeah, that's it. That's not saying much, but it was the best one.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to read the plot synopsis by Tony Topola here. At home, Mother's Day is approaching, and Tim wants to prove Jill that he and the boys can actually buy something from the heart. In tool time, Tim presents Binford products that clear drains in toilet clogs. Surprisingly, there is no catastrophe. Tim demonstrates how to pour a concrete foundation. Sadly, again, no catastrophe. So, Tony upset that there's no catastrophes around here.
Buy something from the heart. That's not really what happens here. But what is he... I don't remember anything about Tim pouring concrete.
Well, they talk about it, and then they bring out the K&B boys, and then that's it.
Yeah, okay, all right.
We'll get to that later.
All right, Tony. All right.
I'm just happy Tony kept it to 3 sentences.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That was nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to open at home. Tim and Jill are there. Tim has been shopping and has brought home a gift, or not a gift for himself, really. But Jill thinks it's a Mother's Day gift, and he kind of goes along with that. I should mention that the logo bounces through during this scene, kind of like Tigger, almost like he ain't got time to be on the show, because he's in and out in a flash.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I was just going to say, the logo is really just fumbling around. He came to set drunk again. Obviously the logo's in the bottle. You say not given the time of day. I say, half in the bag.
There's really no way of knowing until we get that behind the music VH1 special.
Yeah, I was going to say BuzzFeed Long Reads needs to cover this somehow. I feel like this is a story that has gone untold long enough.
Yeah, perhaps we'll have to do some more research. But okay, so it's not Jill's Mother's Day present. Instead, it's a muffler.
Hence my clever muffler.
Hence the muffle open that we talked about. They talk about actual gifts and past gifts that Jill has gotten, including fuzzy dice earmuffs, which look pretty stylish. Jill says that Tim will just run to the mini mart with the boys and buy the first thing they see. Which there is that kid store, that's
the kid
free.
Store
so
you can buy huge containers of perfume. Interesting that you bring that up, because this is a lot like that episode. I feel like is it Jill's birthday? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Too bad we didn't have to come up with a new title for that one.
Yeah, that'd been easier. Much Ado About Birthday.
Yeah, it is set up very much the same way. I thought I was watching the same episode again, but they distinguish it by being Mother's Day, so there you go.
Good on them, yeah.
I'm sure the K&B boys were on Jill's birthday, too.
I would imagine so. Yes, they're just racking up appearances. Yeah, really great. So where are we at here? Jill
At
wants
home
boys.
later, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
home later.
That's the opening scene.
Yeah, then we do the cold open. Randy's doing magic with cups. And
yeah.
you're like, oh, what's this all about? Don't worry, it's gonna come back later.
Foreshadowing.
Tim talked to the boys about the gifts and how, like, you know, hey guys, we gotta come up with something for Mother's Day.
And Mark is playing lookout, right?
What'd you say?
Mark is playing lookout at this time too.
Yeah,
make sure that
Mark's
Jill doesn't
playing
come down.
lookout. He's supposed to be watching. You know, obviously you can kind of guess what's going to happen there. But they're talking about Mother's Day. The boys aren't too worried about it because they're selfish. And they say, you know, we got 4 days. We'll just buy something. But Tim says, no, you know, we got to do better this year because obviously he's feeling kind of like a pressure
Guilty.
because Jill spoke to him about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, otherwise he wouldn't care at all. So
Probably not. No.
no, he doesn't. It doesn't seem like he does before she says anything.
Yeah, I mean, he did lie about what was in that bag earlier, which seemed like an unnecessary lie, but that's kind of what this show's built on.
Unnecessary lies.
Yeah, Jill comes down, and then Mark says that she's coming afterwards. Ha 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 ha. And then he ruins the idea by saying that they're going to build something for their mother. So now
Mark is the worst.
They have to. Yeah, he's the worst. Yeah, he's the worst. They have to build something now. I believe she leaves. Maybe she
goes to
doesn't.
work.
I don't know that it matters. But they vow to turn the garage into Man Central, and then they do a special Mother's Day grunt.
And we'll see that later too.
Yeah, it's
Isn't it like "I love you, Mom, you're the best" or something like that?
Yeah, there's a good amount of grunting here.
Yeah, which is why it was called Grunting Day, or Grunters Day.
Yeah, it was really just a good title by you.
So, next scene, I've messed up my notes here, but next scene, we're on Tool Time. Tim and Al are selling some Binford drain cleaners. They talk about a lot of toilet humor here.
Yeah, it's toilet
plunger
humor
jokes, auger jokes.
Prop comedy. You know, a lot of like toilet plunger. He puts the plunger closer to Al's face. Tim
charms a
Did you like
snake.
the snake charming thing?
I mean, it was fine, I guess. The audience really laughed, and it went on a pretty long time before Al breaks it up.
I liked it only because it went on so long. Like, I think that there's something to be said for, like, committing to a really bad joke like that. So, like, the fact that, you know, after, like, 10 seconds they're still doing it, I'm like, all right, I can sort of get on board with this. But, yeah, it's that tasteful Middle Eastern music Home Improvement likes to use.
Just a diverse show, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And then they run to, like, behind their little workbench, which I like the fact that they have to run from, like, parts of the stage because it's live and they have, like, a little buffer zone. I think that's kind of funny that they would have to do that. So Tim wants to talk about Al's mother and Mother's Day, and you can see where this is going to go. Al is a bit perturbed, but Tim wants to make a peace offering for Mother's Day, and his peace offering is a giant flannel apron.
Yeah.
So that would fit maybe like a 80-foot giant.
Yeah, it's you know, it's not.
Are you gonna say tasteful? Is that?
It's not great. No, it's not a great gag. You know, I don't have much more to say about it. It's just a really big flannel apron with different tools and stuff on it, and that's really it for this scene. So some not great jokes early on, I would say. Yeah.
Not an indication of what's to come, right?
Well, that remains to be seen. We cut home to the garage. There's signs on the door reading "Man Central," which Jordan, that's what you call your room, right? Man Central.
My office, yeah, that's what it says on that. I have one of those things. I don't put signs up. I have like one of those things that hangs on the handle, though. I got it custom made.
I thought you got a vanity plate and you just
it says Gasoline Alley in here.
It's Florida, Man Central.
So yeah, it says keep out. There's a special grunting code to get in, right?
Yeah, it's like
secret grunt.
3 grunts and something. There's a special knock and then 3 grunts. So Jill seems to really want surprises ruined.
Yeah, she wants to go in there. She's trying to break in.
Yeah, this whole episode in the beginning, she just always wants surprises ruined. I don't get it.
Can't she wait?
Yeah, what's her deal?
What's her deal? Mark is not helping the boys make anything. He must already be done with his thing, and he wants a popsicle, or perhaps he's going to eat the popsicle and then use the popsicle stick in his...
Hey, no spoilers. No spoilers.
We'll see. He's going to have to eat a lot of popsicles to get that done.
Not going to be a problem.
They let him have unlimited popsicles, but those cookies, no.
Those cookies they're hidden up in the rafters.
They're in the attic. You got to go up there.
Yeah.
So Jill tries to get in with the grunt. Tim denies her, and we kind of go inside the garage at that point. Brad is gluing together a jewelry box, and he's about done. It looks nice. Randy is really struggling with his birdhouse.
Well, what? Okay, quick question. Why didn't Randy build the jewelry box and Brad take on the birdhouse? Randy obviously cannot do this, and Brad seems to have an innate talent. So maybe they should have switched those, because
that's just brother, trying to one up your brother, I suppose.
I guess so, but I'm not real mechanical. I'm just saying, I think I could maybe build a jewelry box or do something close to that. I definitely couldn't do a birdhouse, but
maybe you'll have to put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, I'll build you a jewelry box, Jordan. Sure, for your earrings,
all of my earrings,
your ice,
bracelets, all that kind of stuff. So Brad's pretty pleased with himself, and he leaves. But Randy's frustrated because his birdhouse is a mangled mess.
It's not really that bad, though.
No, I mean it's just a little crooked.
Yeah,
I am kind of shocked at how he screwed it up, because everything's cut to the right length, and really all he has to do is glue properly.
Yeah,
well, think
that's
he
the
could
hardest
pull that
part
off.
in some ways.
So he just wanted to buy something. He's pretty frustrated here. He gets into a little tiff with his father here, and he ends up leaving. And I guess what bothers me is he just doesn't seem to care about what he gives his mom. He just says she'll like whatever crap I get her, It's
more than just him being frustrated about his inability to build. It's more just him being sort of I guess selfish, or he just doesn't.
He's taking his mom's mother for granted.
Yeah.
Or his mom's mother, his mom's love for granted.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to show much remorse or anything. He just is she'll whatever crap I give her. And Tim is trying to be patient here, but Randy just kind of storms off. And that's essentially the end of the scene. It's really I'm wondering, oh no,
what's going to happen?
Is Randy going to run away, or
will Randy turn his life around? Will he start throwing bricks at greenhouses?
Remember earlier in the season when Brad was headed to juvie, and now all of a sudden he
really turned it around.
A model child.
It was probably Jennifer. Jennifer talked some sense into him.
Yeah, except she's gone now.
She's not gone. They're still dating.
I mean, one of these episodes we're going to hear that they broke up and she's not coming back. So.
What if it never happens? Then he's two-timing her with some girlfriends later on.
Oh, man. That is speculative at best. All right. Next
later
scene. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, later at home, Brad and Randy are what I can only describe as practicing wrestling moves. Randy's kind of on the couch, and they're watching, a wrestling show, and Brad is trying some stuff out. And when Brad gets it right, Randy lets him know that it's working properly.
Yeah.
So
it's the same couch where they unzip their dad's pants, just for context.
A lot of bad things happen on that couch.
Yeah.
Jill breaks this up. It's and then she asks why Tim is working in the garage on Randy's project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's upset by that, and she tries to get in. And there's that whole thing with the grunting and the password, and Jill just says, "Let me in, Mr. Gorbachev. Tear down that wall."
It works too.
Yeah, it works just like it did for Reagan. Reaganomics.
Oh, that's perfect. So, the secret grunt, I guess, is Jill being angry. Mm-hmm. She says she wants the gift to reflect her boy's true nature.
Yep.
And I don't know. Whatever, I guess. I don't know what to make of that statement. It seems grandiose and not realistic. But
well, in the end, she does kind of get it, though.
She does. I feel like Mark's gift should be some sort of I don't know, him ratting someone out.
Mark's gift to his mom is that he doesn't get held back this year at school.
He quits the Scouts or something.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know. All right, so they're supposed to pick out the perfect gift on their own instead of Tim kind of pushing them in this direction.
She's got a lot of requests.
She does. One of those requests is that they go to Chez Pierre for dinner, which we saw earlier. That was season 1, right? A little early on.
Offsides. A better episode than this one. And Jordan, I took the time to translate Chez Pierre. Do you know what it translates to?
Something Peter. Chef Peter.
At Pierre's place.
Oh, man. Close enough.
Pretty cool.
So she called. She wanted to book it for herself. So she called a couple weeks ago. They were booked solid. Turns out Tim called 2 months ago and booked it for the whole family. So Tim's doing a lot of things wrong, but he's doing this right.
Yeah, I can't really imagine the boys going to Chez Pierre, but, I guess whatever. Hope there's not a Lions game on. That's all I'm saying.
No. I mean, remember the table manners episode when they couldn't even have dinner at home properly?
Yeah.
Imagine them going to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, they fall asleep at the table at the end. It's gonna be
a great night at Chez Pierre's.
Yeah.
So Tim does one thing right, but then he immediately does something wrong and calls Mother's Day a bogus holiday invented by florists and restaurants.
Yeah, but so is Father's Day, and so I mean, a lot of Valentine's Day. I think you could say that about most of the everything. It's not like Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving.
Everyone knows that Thanksgiving was invented by Hallmark.
The Native Americans disagree with you in that regard, but yeah,
we're gonna get some more background on Mother's Day in the next scene. You think we should move on to that?
Yeah, but before we do, there is Jill makes the point to say I want the boys to give me something from the heart. So Randy doesn't. He's not interested in building like Brad is. So he's interested in performing, ventriloquism, magic, cool stuff like that. So she's a little bit mad at Tim for kind of forcing him to build something. But also Tim, he really only knows how to build things, it seems. So it makes sense that he would kind of gravitate towards that. But yeah,
perhaps it's a good thing that she doesn't know that he wants to just give her any old crap that he can buy. And I say Randy, or he when I say he, I mean Randy in this moment.
Regardless of what it is you're saying or trying to say, Jordan, I think we got to go to the next scene, and that is a fence segment. So should we play a clip?
Let's do it.
Afternoon, Wilson.
Heidi-ho, neighbor.
What's with the flag?
Tim, I'm commemorating the upcoming holiday.
With a flag? It's not 4th of July, it's Mother's Day.
You see, Tim, back in 1914, Congress passed a resolution establishing Mother's Day as an official holiday.
What?
It was a proclamation calling on the public to display the flag as a sign of love and reverence for the mothers of our country. And it was issued by the President of the United States. Now,
Wilson?
Absolutely right, Tim. President Woodrow Wilson.
Well, maybe old Woodrow took credit for it, but I bet his mom gave him the idea.
Wilson?
Over here.
You have company?
Oh, my favorite kind of company. Mother. She just flew in from the Yukon.
Really? I finally get to meet your mom.
Uh-huh. Mom, I'd like you to meet my friend and good neighbor, Tim Taylor.
Heidi-ho, Timothy.
Hi.
You must be the confused one my son helps out from time to time.
Yeah, I'm him. It sure is good to meet you. I see where Wilson gets his good looks.
Yes, I just flew her in to help her celebrate Mother's Day. We're going down to Greek Town to drink ouzo and dance the horo.
Boy, you guys really like to get down, huh?
You know it, baby.
Wilson, it's a great idea, flying your mom in like that. Randy, my middle son is having trouble thinking of something for Mother's Day for my wife.
Oh, I'm sure she'll love anything he gives her.
Mm-hmm, that's right, Tim. After all, it was Pierre Corneille, the noted French playwright, who wrote, "I am in the habit of looking not so much to the nature of the gift as to the spirit in which it is given."
Oh, that's beautiful, yeah.
Excuse me, son, are you sure it was Corneille? I believe it was Robert Louis Stevenson.
Well, by golly, Mom, I think you're right.
Pierre Corneille wrote, "The manner of giving is worth more than the gift."
Act 1, Scene 1 of his play, Le Monteur.
Oh, you do your mother proud.
Oh, Mom.
Thanks, Wilsons. I was enjoying this quote fest, but remember, I'm the confused one, and I still don't know what to tell Randy about Mother's Day.
The most important gift you can give any mother is to let her know she's loved and appreciated.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Enjoy your time here. Greektown's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so Jordan, new character here. She's only going to appear one time throughout the whole series, but we get her here, and that's Wilson's mom.
Oh, man.
And guess what? She's just like Wilson. We don't
know
see
where
her
he gets it
face.
from.
Yeah, she knows about Robert Louis Stevenson and other things. She is short, and she likes to dance, and she's just kind of eccentric and quirky, like Zooey Deschanel, maybe. Before we talk about the clip, I gotta say, I thought this was really stupid. I would say I had sort of a visceral reaction to this gag. It just did not work for me.
Well, I thought you liked when they commit to something when it was really long. Because this is a long. It seems like a long.
No, I like that more in terms of like physical humor or like
Okay.
like. But this just bringing in trying too hard. I felt like she's just. I don't know. I get why they did it, but I thought this was just so stupid. Like, it just was not funny to me. And, she's mirroring Wilson, and you see her eye through the hole, and they're both very knowledgeable. But, I did not care for this very much.
It wasn't a great scene by any means. But the mother does have some very applicable wisdom because, she's a mom. So her advice is to let... for Randy or Tim or any of the boys to let her know that she is loved and appreciated by giving them their gift. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, she corrects Wilson. She knows even more than he does. And they have plans to go to Greektown and dance.
That's going to be a far cry from the Yukon.
She's from the Yukon. I did get a bio on her. I don't know. We don't actually see her face, but her name is Ann Morgan Gilbert. She has 58 credits to her name. She passed away last June, in fact, so relatively recently. She was 87. Credits include The Dick Van Dyke Show, The Nanny, Grumpier Old Men, and then last year she appeared in a show called Life in Pieces, which I'm not necessarily familiar with, but she apparently, or presumably, her face was shown in these other roles, one would imagine.
Perhaps not, though.
Yeah, it's possible not. I feel like Home Improvement cites Robert Louis Stevenson a lot.
Well, that's just because it's happened twice in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's very fresh. You would have thought they'd maybe try to come up with another name there.
Just like you'd think you wouldn't use much ado about nothing or Nana in your quote.
Yeah, but
in your title.
They're professional writers, and I am an immature podcaster.
I thought you were a professional. You're taking classes.
Enough for podcasting.
All right, so we'll move on to the next scene. We're going to Tool Time. And this is where the concrete comes in that was mentioned by Tony. Apparently, they're going to show how to pour concrete, and to do so, they need the K&B boys.
Well, nobody pours concrete like those fellas.
So they come out, they get the usual reception from the crowd. Pete, though, before they start too much into this, wants to read a poem for his mother, who, I guess before we talk about too much, we just want to play a clip of the poem. It's very heartfelt.
Poetic, yes.
Well, why don't we get started with that concrete? We got to take our footing.
Excuse me, Tim. If we have just a minute, I'd like to read a poem, short poem that I wrote for my mom. She'll be spending this Mother's Day up at Michigan State
University.
No, penitentiary.
Pete, this is neither the time nor the place.
She was framed, Tim.
I think, under the circumstances, we could drop our tools for a couple minutes and give a salute to mothers anywhere, or anywhere they spend their time.
An Ode to My Mother by Peter Bilker. That would be me. Who etched this tattoo in her purple moo-moo? Mother. Mother. Who posted my bail every time without fail? Mother. Mother. And who rushed to the car with my severed thumb in a jar? Father. Father. But who sewed it back on when the doctor was gone? Mother. Mother. Happy Mother's Day, Mom!
So, Jordan, K&B boys are back. for what must be like the 6th, 7th time. It's a memorable appearance, I would say. Pete's poem. You like it?
It's moving. It gives us some a background on his character, where his tattoo came from.
Yeah, mother.
I've always been wondering. Yeah, mother. I watched him in the background, and he kind of echoes those words as Pete's saying them, and he has some funny looks on his face, so that was good to watch the second time around. I've always been wondering what's wrong with his thumb, so it was good to get that mystery cleared up.
Wait, have we seen that before?
No.
Oh, I was going to say that. Yeah, it's like when he said that, his thumb came off and he said father instead of mother. I thought that was really funny.
A nice curveball.
Yeah, it's like, wait, what? Subverting audience expectations. She's up at Michigan State, not
But she was framed.
She's in the penitentiary. She was framed, yeah. I remember this clip from my original watches as a youngster, and it's funny. It's better than what they've done with some of their appearances, I would say. Although Dwayne and Rock don't really have anything to do, but Pete,
it's kind of like a time filler because it's pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of their appearances are time fillers, but Pete is Pete's the funniest one in general, I would say. So yeah, I guess a good idea to give him kind of a showcase. But we cut away. It's just a quick scene, but don't worry, they're going to be back.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
At home later on, we've got Randy and Tim, and really everyone's going to be here in a moment. But the boys are all down here. They're all looking dapper. They're ready to go to Chez Pierre in a little bit.
They're ready to go to Pierre's place. Yeah.
Pierre's place. Yeah. They've got suits on. They also have this nice giant trunk that has been fixed to do a magic trick. So they do that grunt that we talked about earlier when Jill comes down, and Jill's getting ready to go, but they want to give the gifts first. So we get a nice jewelry box from Brad that has been stained. So it has a nice color to it now instead of just the basic wood. We get the popsicle stick recipe box by Mark. He had to eat a lot of popsicles to get that to work. And, Randy's going to do what he does best, and that's magic. So the chest has the Great Randini on it, and he's gonna make Tim disappear. So I did like that when he opens up the chest, he pulls out his last assistant.
It's really funny, really funny. Yeah,
a skeleton.
Best laugh of the episode. Best joke right there.
A really nice.
Hey, before we get into the trick here, this is not a gift. Just going to go ahead and say this is...
I see articles all the time that say you should spend your time and money on experiences and not things, and Randy's taking that to heart here.
All I'm saying is that if someday I'm a father and one of my kids is like, hey, here's this low-rent magician trick that I'm doing, I'm going to be kind of upset by it. I know it's supposed to be cute, but, I think you could have done more. You'd pull a rabbit out of a hat or something, but this is not that impressive. It's just the trick trunk, Jordan.
The real gift is that Tim will not be at dinner.
This is all. I mean, this episode is very recycled. This whole plot is basically Jill's birthday, and then this trunk bit is, this is your friend Larry Houdini, Harry Houdini.
You know what's funny? I was writing down his name, and I wrote Sir Harry Houdini.
It's as if just a mental block is.
It's just not working. That's what his name should be.
That would have been funny if he popped out of the trunk. Instead of a skeleton, it was him in there, and he was just been in there the whole time.
Yeah. When Tim goes in there and he yells, "Close the lid," it sounds exactly like Sir Larry. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he said.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I wish. I just wish it would have been him. Freaking cool. It's the Great Randini. As the crate, uncrateful, you may remember my title from the beginning, indicates his assistant, Tim the Toolman Taylor. Tim gets in, they pull the skeleton out, good gag there. And then he and Brad, they rotate the trunk a few times, they open it, and Tim's not there anymore. So, pretty good.
And Jill likes that, so she says, let's go to dinner.
Yeah, that's... Jordan, don't rush a magic trick. A magician would tell you never to rush magic. They close the trunk, and they do it again, and then they open it the second time, and then he's not there. And then they're like, all right, see you later. And I was thinking, and then you hear Tim's voice, and he's like, let me out of here, let me out of here. I was thinking, what if this was the series finale? Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be nuts?
Well, then our podcast would be over, so I guess I'm glad that it's not. Aaron, perhaps you're upset.
Yeah,
that
I don't know. It's so like, yeah. I mean, the implications of this, they just left him. They're going to dinner at Chez Pierre. He made the reservations, and he's stuck in the trunk.
Well, he's done a lot of questionable things over the 2 seasons, I suppose.
Are we supposed to think that
I think this is Mark. Like, Mark put him up to this. Remember the birthday party where he didn't even get to play with that big racing track?
Judy the Elf and Tim just racing the whole time?
Yeah, Mark's been trying to get him back for weeks.
You're giving Mark far too much credit here. Mark is only good at eating popsicles. That's the first talent I've seen him have.
He's good at tattling.
Yeah, he's the telltale. Question. Do they come back and does Tim go to dinner, or do they leave him in the trunk the whole time?
They come back.
All right, I didn't see it. Just a fair question to ask. Jordan, we haven't had any asides yet this episode. You like magic? Have we talked about this?
I'm fine with it. When I went on that cruise, there was a guy walking around, and he said he was a magician, and we assumed that he was employed by Disney, like, on the cruise. So he did a bunch of, like, card tricks and stuff, just, like, impromptu. We were just walking around, seeing the different stuff around the ship, and I kept seeing him throughout the cruise the next couple days, but he never performed anything. So I can only assume that this guy was walking around the cruise ship, like, with all of his magician skills and things and tricks, but he wasn't actually there to perform. So that was a really strange encounter with a magician that I had recently. What?
It's just funny. I just imagine this guy just, like, going on a cruise and being like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring my magic stuff.
Well, and
People might be receptive to that.
And he was, like, all dressed up in, like a suit and stuff. I was very confused.
It was a Disney cruise, right?
Yeah, it was.
I guess that kind of goes with the territory, maybe.
Yeah, magicians are everywhere.
Yeah. Do you know any tricks?
Not
I'm surprised
really.
you don't. I'm surprised you're not into magic. I feel like that's something to get into.
Me and Johnny Carson.
Yeah. Karnak.
No, I don't really think I know any. I maybe used to know, like, one card trick, but I don't anymore.
I always thought I'm always impressed by it. I've watched.
Yeah, I think it's impressive.
I like watching the David Blaine stuff where he does magic for celebrities and they lose their minds. Have you ever seen that? Like,
yeah.
They did that special a couple of years ago where he's, like, doing magic for, like, Harrison Ford, who's notoriously, like, very grumpy and stuff, and he's wearing, like, his hoop earring and he's just really, really impressed. So, worth a watch, I would say.
Jimmy Fallon seems to have a few of those people on, doesn't he?
You're asking the wrong guy.
I know you love Fallon.
Not a Fallon guy. Fallon got Trump elected, so that's really all you can remember there. So they leave Tim in the trunk. We hear Tim's voice, and then we cut back to Tool time. And this is just like last week's episode, where another thing that they kind of throw in at the end at Tool time, where we don't. I guess we're to assume that it's just from the episode earlier, right? I mean, what else?
It's very jarring. Because it doesn't make sense in the sequence of events.
No. So what are they doing, Jordan? They're singing a Mother's Day song.
Al is taking the lead here. Al has
a nice voice, we should say.
Yeah, this is Al's. I think this is Al's gift to his mother.
Is this a real song?
I don't. He's just spelling out what all the letters of mother are for. So he says M is for something, O is for something.
Yeah.
They also have contorted some tools, including like a measuring tape and some other tools into those letters as they're saying it.
And they're all standing in a line that spells.
And they're all and this is the real reason why they brought in the K&B boys. They just needed people to hold these tools.
Yeah. It's fine, I guess. Whatever.
It's adorable. Would you prefer this or the magic trick for your gift?
Neither one. I'd rather have the popsicle stick deal.
The recipe box?
Yeah, recipe for my recipe.
That's not the question I asked, though. You got to do one or the other.
Okay. Probably the magic trick because it's faster and I could be done with it. You know, it's just quick.
The singing did take quite a while.
It's sort of awkward too.
Plus, you just said you like magic, so if it was an impressive
but I don't
magic
want it
trick,
as a gift.
That's where you draw the line.
You know, Jordan, I saw Penn and Teller perform one time. Famous magicians, obviously not bragging, but sort of a big deal. And I watched that show, and it was pretty good, but it wasn't great. And they're supposed to be the most popular magicians, in the world, I would say, in the country. And it was only just, like, fine, you know? So maybe I'm just not as into magic as I think.
Maybe if you're just, like, there in person, it's a one-on-one or one-on-3 interaction, perhaps it's better. Perhaps you just need to be on a cruise and confused about why this guy is approaching you.
If I go on a cruise and there's a magician like bothering me, I'm gonna be so mad. Like that's just the opposite of what you want on a cruise. I feel like it's some guy like, hey, remember your card? Was this your card?
Oh man!
And then we have some bloopers, and that's it.
Yeah, outtakes of the toilet scene.
Roll credits, fade to black. To build or not to build. AKA Mother's Day Malaise, AKA Ungrateful, AKA Magical Mother's Day.
Or The Handmaid's Tale or Grunter's Day.
Yeah, yours are significantly better, but I wanted to only highlight one.
Highs and lows?
Well, lows are these are all recycled ideas.
Yeah, I mean we've had basically the Jill's birthday is the Mother's Day gift. We've had the Cane B-Boys.
I've had enough trunk humor for one podcast here, you know?
Yeah, they do the same thing that Sir Larry Houdini had done to him.
You're unbelievable. Your struggle with that is hilarious. It's very authentic, which I appreciate.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've learned in a year of podcasting. People like authenticity.
Yeah, authenticity is paramount in this counterfeit world. Yeah, I mean, recycled ideas. So that
they even do Chez Pierre again. It's all the same.
They even do Chez Pierre again. Jill's annoying in this episode. Randy is just kind of a jerk in the episode. Everything.
There's no real winners in this episode.
It's fine. I mean, actually, it's not. It's probably below average just because it is so repetitive. Yeah, not a great episode, to be sure. I would say highs. I guess I liked the snake charming gag, and I thought Pete's poem was nice. But there's no like heart to hearts here. No. The characters, none of them are doing anything especially interesting. In fact, they're mostly just kind of behaving selfishly. I don't really have a lot to say here, just because it is so much the same.
It is, yeah. Everything is recycled except for Wilson's mom, and we both mentioned how we didn't really enjoy that scene, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, actually, that was really lame.
Yeah, I would say the only high for me that you didn't mention was when Randy pulls out the skeleton of his last assistant.
Oh yeah. Actually,
that was a good joke.
That's actually probably the best.
But
joke.
Yeah, other than that,
and that kind of tells you the heights of this episode. When the best joke is just a fake toy skeleton that's pulled out of a trunk. That's when you know you're really grasping for something.
Yeah, so definitely below average for me for season 2 and overall.
Agreed. Yeah, I would agree. I'd say this is lower third. Yeah, Jordan. So what next? You want to talk a little social media? Or?
Yeah, let's just get into that real quick.
All
right. If you would like to reach out to us, maybe submit your own alternative titles for these episodes, we'd love to hear what your creative minds come up with. And you can do so by reaching out at thehomeimpodcast.com. You can also email us at homeimpodcast@gmail.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/homeimpodcast. And our Twitter handle is at homeimpodcast.
That's right, Jordan. On Twitter this week, poll, are you friends with any of your exes? Because, last week there was the whole plot, and there was just a lot of conflict. I did something new. Actually, I didn't know I could do it before, where I made the poll last 3 days, so hoping that maybe it would drum up more votes. Hasn't been the case thus far, but worth a try. So, Jordan, there's still 22 hours left, and, so this is a tentative total. I suspect that at the last hour, people will come in, they'll see this poll from...
It's like an eBay bid, basically.
3 or 4 days ago, and they'll say, I gotta vote. And I hope they do, because right now, Jordan, we are in a tie. So, is anyone friends with their exes? 50% yes, 50% no. So, folks, I can't tell you to vote because this episode will drop long after the voting ends, but I hope that there is a change of course here. Other than that, I don't know that we got any major interactions here. Let me see.
Besides, that outside of Twitter, I guess check Twitter first, and then we'll move on to some major interaction that we did get.
Yeah, I mean Richard Karn. Here's one. At TrueBrandon32. He wanted to know, when is Home Impodcast doing a live show?
Ooh. Wow.
I would say when we get people to pay for
Jungle to
Jungle episodes and or buy a sticker and or any number of other smaller things in scope. But I told them we would do a show at the Lapeer Rec Center sometime. So
you're going to have to fly us both in.
That's a 1% joke, but the people that like it will like it. So also Richard Karn retweeted that I saw he was in Chicago and I said he should come to the studio and record, and he retweeted it but didn't respond. So that's pretty typical Karn.
Hard to know what that means.
Karn, he is enigmatic, I would say.
Wow, good Twitter stuff there. So I did want to talk about another interaction that we did get, and that was an iTunes review. So we're up to 14 now. I guess when you throw out that you're going to sing for people, they come clamoring. And this review is a 5-star review on May 22nd, so pretty recent. It's titled "The Best!" by it's Impod Fan 445. So I guess Impod Fan 1 was taken. 1 through 444, maybe.
One would assume.
So it says, favorite podcast. Adam and Jordan are really funny, and I look forward to this every week. So thank you, Impod Fan 445. And Adam has a special treat for you.
I mean, are you sure this isn't your mom? Is my question before I say.
That's not how my mom signs off.
We
know that from blog comments.
Okay, yeah, that's true. All right, a song. I also want to note that, Jordan, I'm going to confront you on this. I don't think you like my singing on here.
I love your singing. I just, I don't want to tax you too much. I know it's a lot of work for you, and I don't want to wear you out.
All right, you're right. It is a lot of work. So, Jordan, instead of singing a song, I'm going to try to do something that's related to the episode, and I'm going to do a Pete Bilker-esque poem. All right. So, to a similar tone. So, and this is to Impod Fan 445. Who left us a review when there was nothing new? Impod Fan 445. Who's the kindest, sweetest soul? And who's always on patrol? Impod Fan 445. Who logged in without delay when there was seemingly not so much to say? Impod Fan 445. Who called us by our first names and said nothing but the highest acclaim? Impod Fan 445. Thank you very much, Impod Fan 445.
Snaps.
That was hard, Jordan. I haven't done poetry like that since my Haight-Ashbury days. So,
no doubt that Impod Fan 445 will greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, you're right, definitely. I don't know that we're going to read this comment, but your mom commented on our blog, and she was kind of surprised you had a 5th grade girlfriend.
Yeah, I kept things close to the vest on that one.
Definitely. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Did your parents know about your 5th grade girlfriend?
My parents don't listen to this, Jordan. Come on.
I'm just saying. I'm just asking if you think they did.
No.
Back in 5th grade. No.
No. I don't think so. No.
She also did call us Duke and Javier. So
witty as heck. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks again for the review, and I will continue to do something for anyone that leaves us a review. It's not going to be poetry again. That was actually really hard.
Harder than singing?
Yeah, for sure. Well, also, it seems like I only have one idea for singing, because I was going to sing that song, and I was thinking it's going to be just like the one that I sang before. But keep leaving us reviews, and we'll keep giving you, or rather, I'll keep giving you something in return, whether Jordan like it or not.
I'm stingy.
You're stingy. All right, so, Jordan, year of Home Impodcast. Wow.
A whirlwind, a romp, if you will.
It was a romp. It went to market with a really good, fresh episode, such as To Build or Not to Build. Just one of our crisper efforts to date.
Yeah. It's at least the audio should be all right. We've had some issues with that in the past.
Yes. So do you want to talk lessons learned, or just kind of a year through it? What are your thoughts, or kind of how are you feeling about things?
How am I feeling? Boy, I remember the show being better.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. There's been some good episodes, but I feel like a lot of episodes we end up saying that it's very middle of the road or not great. So I do remember that the show being better. I don't know if that's just looking through the lens of time. Perhaps our humor is just a little bit different, but that's one thing that stuck out to me. We've had a few episodes that have been pretty good, but a lot have been definitely average. So I would say Mark is the worst narc on Earth. That's probably happened more than the K&B boys coming on, which is saying something. And on the podcasting side of things, editing, I feel like editing can take as long as you want it to take. If you're a perfectionist, you could sit there and spend hours editing. And the first couple times I did it, I tried to, and part of that was that we didn't have good mics at the time too. So I tried to do some stuff there, but I've definitely gotten a little bit faster at that. So that's a good thing too.
Oh, Jordan, I think you're the best editor in the world.
Thanks.
I mean, you can definitely tell like when some shows are edited because there's just no lag between words. Like it's just like very, very quick, and I feel like that. Maybe like professional podcasters are able to kind of cut down on the ums and ands and not start every sentence with "so Jordan" or But
I'm sad you don't say reasonably funny anymore.
Yeah, I have dropped that for I'm sure some new tick that I will discover relatively recently, but. Yeah, okay. So my big takeaways for season 1, mine are more related just to the show. I would say we're almost through 2 full seasons at this point.
Yeah.
So through 2 full seasons, Al is less of a character than I remember. There's just less of Al. He's gotten so he appears in pretty much every episode in this season because he's in the main credits and stuff, but he doesn't really have very much to do a lot of the time. Relatively just sort of a one-trick pony with like the sensitivity and the mother jokes. So he's just not doing a lot yet. And I know that will change.
He's definitely not a fleshed out character yet.
No. And I think I remember more the later stuff than the early stuff, so that surprises me. I would say going in, I expected Tim to be less of a redeemable character than he is. I think like I was maybe bogged down in like the Tim Allen male chauvinist kind of humor or like men are pigs kind of stuff. So I just thought like Tim was going to be kind of unlikable and and certainly we see the episodes where Tim is not a great husband or a great father, but I would say Tim and Jill it's more of an equal playing field in terms of like who screws up or like who is acting ridiculous or who is annoying or who I find just kind of off-putting. And I thought I would side with Jill more than Tim, and I find it being kind of 50-50. So, of late, probably more siding with Tim when it comes to the episodes.
I was going to say, I feel like season 1 was a lot more of that stuff, and season 2 has been a lot more of redeeming Tim in that way and making him more likable. And episodes like X Marks the Spot, like you were saying, where he's the one that's being rational and everyone else is kind of weirdos.
Yeah.
It's kind of been season 1 was the season of Tim being chauvinist and all those macho things, and season 2 has been a little bit different.
And I'm glad for that.
That would have made it hard to do that.
It does make it hard. And the last one is, in later years, Mark really, I guess, he goes goth or he goes off the wall. He's a strange bat. And I would say that Mark's future, the writing was on the wall very early on, and I'm seeing that now. Like you can tell in these episodes, Mark's going to be a weird older kid just based on his behavior. Watching it through the lens of 1 to 8, it's quite obvious that he's going to end up being strange, and in fact, he is. He gets that way. So that
I would say they actually do a pretty good job of that with the boys, all the boys early on, because you see early on that Brad is a lot more into the sports and the building and like the hands-on stuff, and Randy is very much into the other stuff, the more creative aspects of life, I would say, and. Well, I get not creative aspects. I mean, building is very creative.
Yeah, but he's more into the arts, performing.
Yeah, in the arts.
Like
That's what I'm creative arts. They did a pretty good job early on, just keeping those kind of themes throughout the characters and exploring them in different ways as they got older.
And they set up Mark as being really into popsicles as a young boy, and that continues throughout the whole series.
Later on, he runs like an ice cream truck, right?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes. The finale where Mark runs away with an ice cream truck.
Jeez. So one thing that I know I've learned in a year is that I just enjoy spending time with you.
You're a doll. I remember when we came up with the idea. We were texting, and then I got in the car and I drove 5 minutes to Dunkin' Donuts, and I called you briefly, and we ran through a list of shows. Do you remember the shows? Was it like The Office? And
we talked about Rodney Dangerfield.
Dangercast.
Dangercast.
Which I contend is still going to happen.
We talked about like an Alfred Hitchcock anthology show. We talked about... Yeah, I don't know if we ever talked about like any more recent series like The Office or Parks and Rec or anything like that.
We settled on this one, and it's been a year. It's been an enjoyable year, and looking forward to years to come. Hopefully, perhaps, quite possibly, we take it day by day by day. Next week, Jordan, birth of a hot rod. So we're finally going to see that bad boy out of the Man Central zone.
Now that they're not building in the garage, they can get back to the hot rod.
All right.
So that's good.
So we're looking forward to that. Jordan, thanks for an enjoyable year. Listeners, thank you for listening for a year, supporting us. Again, if you want to hear that Jungle to Jungle episode, feel free to support the show. Can you keep interacting with us on Twitter, iTunes reviews, merchandise? We got it all, baby. It's only going to get bigger and better. So
we should say too that coming up will be our 50th episode extravaganza, including a very interesting interview. We're going to get down to something that you mentioned, I don't know, in like the first couple episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, that's all we should say for right now. We'll tease it out more next week, but let's just say we're going to have our first ever guest on the show. So, Jordan, thanks for joining me. Listeners, take care.
Take care, everybody.